2.1, or that should say, oh, I'm in the wrong week. No wonder it's wrong. 2.2. We're going to talk about ecosystem services and probably do that for the rest of the week. The DOL is up, and before you ask Jesus, no, I have not heard back yet. I did give the tech department yours and Leland's student ID numbers, so hopefully if they don't contact me, they'll contact you. That way they know exactly who to talk to. If we finish our notes early today, then we'll go into this biome services. It's a shared document, so all of you guys would be in it at the same time, but I think I have it set up pretty okay. Yes, Leland, I sent in the issues that you and Jesus were having with AP Classroom and how it works when you're in the parking lot, but not. You told me it was back to not working again.
No, it was not working. I went to Centennial parking lot and it changed.
Okay. Oh,
I was still able to do it when I got home.
Okay. Alright, well, it is what it is. I'll still try and fix Jesus's somehow. So go ahead, open up your packets. Let's see. And this is probably one of the shorter PowerPoints we'll ever go through. All right. Let me get my Teams back up. Yeah, very short. It's like 8 or 9 slides or something like that. The biggest part, I think, is filling out the table in your packet, which I printed myself one out so I could follow along and follow your chat and follow the PowerPoint all at the same time, because I don't have my 3 screens anymore. All right. So ecosystem values is kind of a substitute for the term services. They kind of mean the same thing in this context. It's what does the ecosystem do for us? So we have a couple different ways of looking at it. The first one is the intrinsic value. Like most of you have intrinsic motivation to do well. Like you want to do well because of you. It's not like I'm dangling a $5 bill in front of your face. That won't happen. Don't worry. It's not something coming from the outside to influence in. So ecosystems have that as well. Their own value, independent from the needs and desires that we have. That's the, sorry, Jesus, it's not word for word. It's the moral, spiritual, religious, philosophical. So the cartoon to the side, you can see businesses here ruining the environment. They have a very nasty lime green, Grinch colored river running through. It's a whole bunch of devastation, nothing left of the natural world. But you know what? He's going to get some money out of it, so it's okay.
How's that possible?
You know, well, we were working our way there, especially close into the 80s. We were working our way towards that direction. So, yeah. So that's a service. Monetary is a service, and we'll get there in a second. But intrinsic value, in your notes, I have like the moral, religious, philosophical part of it. It comes from the inside. Intrinsic. All right. Did I leave out? Oh no, I didn't. Okay. So the following notes go under the types of service. Like I said, I pulled out a packet so I could follow along. Types of service boxes in the first column. Leave the other 3 columns empty for now. So this, unfortunately, at least for me, is on the 2 different pages. But instrumental is your other one. So intrinsic is one, instrumental is the second, and it has worth in terms of goods and services, and this is kind of where the monetary value comes into.
Miss P,
Yeah.
where's instrumental? I see provisioning, but I don't see instrumental in here.
So instrumental, I'm sorry, I kind of formatted this poorly. Underneath intrinsic, there's blank for instrumental. Yeah. And then provisioning will start the table. I think I
Wait.
read provisioning in there. You type in what it is.
I still don't see that. I see the question, and it says, "What do ecosystems do for humans?" And then there's the blank for intrinsic value and the blank for extrinsic value.
There is no extrinsic value. It's instrumental value.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Which, in all honesty, could be interchanged depending on the context. All right. So the first instrumental one is called provisioning. That is related to goods that humans use directly. So I threw up some pictures up here, excuse me, of like lumber, trees, animals, fruits, vegetables, honey. Oh my God, what is that called? I'm blanking on the moment. Oh my gosh, I'll think of it once class is over. But, oh, I have it right there, medicinal plants. All right, so that's the first one. So you're just writing underneath that box. Am I good to move on? Okay.
This goes in the first box, right? The one that says what anthropogenic activities could affect the services negatively, or just under it?
So it just goes under it, because when we talk about anthropogenic effects, we'll talk about that separately. That's why I said just fill in that very first column. All right. The second one is regulating services. In this example, there's 4 gigatons of carbon removed by plants, so that's a regulation. Carbon being like from the air, it breathes it in through its stomata and then releases it as oxygen, keeps the carbon for itself, for its glucose, and then also nutrient and water cycles. So regulation, just like if a government is to regulate something, it's kind of controlling it. It works the same thing as just environmental. There's your dog. Ina's staring at me currently.
It's our child. My little brother.
Alright. Next one. Support systems. So water filtration, pest control are all examples of support systems.
Fucking that shit up. Oh, God. Stop, y'all are being
That-
That was super.
Thanks for the notice, Miss Pearson. You could have at least muted me.
Why not? That was way more
Hey, Sus, that was you. Supposed to mute.
Alright.
Really, Leland? I didn't know that.
I taught part of my class on mute a couple days ago. And then today I taught it without sharing my screen. Nobody said a word. Alright, and the fourth one on here is cultural services or aesthetic value. So beauty, tourism, real estate, recreation, this is where some of the money aspect also comes in. At least I know you're there, not like logging on and walking away. Alright. So.
The wheel of death.
Yeah. Alright, so I was talking about Leland. He always turns his camera on. So you have 3 columns to the right of the table. I'm going to have you guys help come up with the things that would go there. Some things can show up more than once, but try to do a little more specifics in your explanations other than like pollution. That's like never going to be acceptable beyond this point. There are countless correct answers. I forget if I put the table. I did not put the table in there, so let me pull it up. I thought I did.
The ecological portion.
Yeah, so we're going to go through the anthropogenic and consequences. Who remembers what anthropogenic means? Let's start there. Oh my gosh. I ask this like every few weeks. Easy. What's anthropogenic mean?
Chiefly of environmental pollution and pollutants originating in human activity.
I'm going to focus on the last 2 words that you said. Human activity. So it's human influenced things. So human influenced activities that could affect them negatively. So actually I'm going to keep this page up. And because I think this picture is really good. So when we're looking at provisioning, so here are some examples right over here. If you notice, this one shows pollination under provisioning to where it was also under supporting in the thing. They can overlap some, and that's totally okay. So what human activities can influence these types of things negatively?
Well, where are we writing this?
Overusing.
I'll take that. One thing I was just thinking about that as you said that. One of the things for provisioning was food, like food, fruits and vegetables. I believe bananas share like 99.99% of their DNA with each other because at this point they're all bred from one original banana. So we don't have any genetic diversity in bananas. All right. What else could go here? I'm just going to put overuse. I'll even go back to this one if this helps. What else could go here?
And this goes in the box right next to provisioning.
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I see what I did here. I put the notes in the... Shush! I put the notes in the, what do you call it? In the type of ecosystem.
Oh.
No, wrong one. I put it in the anthropogenic activities.
Yeah, so...
Is that where the notes themselves are supposed to go?
Yeah. That.
Okay.
So, lumber, we could burn, we can waste. What is the word I'm trying to think of? Overuse, burn, waste. We'll just leave it there for now. What about regulating services? What anthropogenic activities, what can we do to affect these negatively?
Carbon emissions. Yeah, the greenhouse gases.
I'm going to stick with the carbon emissions because greenhouse and global warming are typically too vague of a response. You want specifics. Here's one, speaking of greenhouse gases and lack of biodiversity. Can you guys read my screen okay as I'm typing?
It's a little laggy, but yeah.
Okay. What's up, Jesus?
Nothing. I accidentally pressed the button.
No. Okay. What else can humans do to affect carbon cycle, water cycle, nitrogen cycle, any of those?
Pollution. Water pollution.
I was just about to say that too.
Pollution's
Okay,
too
please.
general. You gotta give me examples.
Oil spills.
Oil spills. Oh my god.
Somebody other than Jesus and Leland, because they are carrying the rest of the class right now. Dante, Isaiah, Dylan, Keenan, Daryl, Javea, wake up. Give me some answers. Human activities that could affect these negatively. Dante's Canadian now. Wildfires. So that is actually helpful with regulating, but I could put wildfires. Wow, I cannot. Under cultural because it ruins the aesthetics of a place. Like nobody's going to go hike Waldo Canyon anymore. Third time, I'm gonna say you have to be specific. If you're gonna say pollution, you have to tell me what types.
Litter.
That would actually affect this one too because that could get into water, natural water filtration. That could well,
Global warming.
no to the global warming. Whoever said that.
I didn't say that.
I'm gonna mute all of you.
Yeah, the melting ice caps.
Which one would you put that under?
Regulating, maybe. Or either regulating or cultural, I think.
I would definitely do both of those. Really cannot spell today. It's human influenced, but I'll... Thinking of support, I have support screen up. Pest control, pollination, and water filtration. What could make those things? Pesticide. I'm gonna put chemical in there. You're good. What else?
Chemical fertilizers.
Yeah. Where else could I put in fertilizers?
What does that say? MONOOROPS. Monocrops? Is that what it says?
Monocrops. And we'll talk about those in Unit 5, but I am going to put those in there. I would also put fertilizers, because that's how we get those algae blooms and those aquatic systems going out of control. Destroying valleys and plants. We'll just say oh my gosh, what's it called? Urbanization. Whew. All right, I think that's some good ones. All right, now thinking of these things, I'm gonna just go back to this screen. Thinking of the things here that humans do that can screw up these ecosystem services, what would be a consequence ecologically? What would be a consequence ecologically? So environmental related.
An ecological consequence. So, lumber deforestation.
Okay, just added on to that a little bit because with deforestation you get a lack of biodiversity, a lack of habitat. Anything else that could go with ecological?
Burning. Can't that, what do you call it? Add more nutrients to the soil or something?
I wouldn't say nutrients, and I went with what Keenan said, the overhunting animals that can lead to like extinction or endangered species. Definitely on that part. There is, I don't know if I'd put that ecological or economical. With burning waste, you do get a lot of health effects. But I don't know which one of those categories I would put it in, to be honest with you. I feel like that should be a miscellaneous category. What about economic? What about money? Anything money related?
It costs a lot of money just to clean up polluted areas.
Okay, that's called remediation. So remediation cost, I mean, that can be millions and millions of dollars.
People losing their homes and then insurance having to do something.
Okay. Property, I will definitely do that. And oh, I'm gonna save that one for the aesthetics of it. All right. So how about the next one? Like, ecological issues. I mean, we already kind of have one here. What else could be an ecological issue?
Uh, uh, can radiation go on regulating?
I honestly, I really don't have an answer for you. I feel like that belongs in a miscellaneous column too, because radiation doesn't come from bees, although it doesn't affect any of the nutrient cycles or the water cycle. It might affect, I would say, maybe support, because the radiation, thinking of like Chernobyl, for example, when it blew up over in the Ukraine, there's plants and animals there that, like spiders, don't spin webs anymore, and so they've changed. So you might be able to put like radiation an ecological effect. Um, Jesus says extinction, freshwater. I would definitely take both of those because even the fertilizers play into that. We contaminate freshwater as well as um, can like kill off species. Fish die-offs are really common. What about economical? I'm gonna second Leland. Think of the cost of cleaning up like oil spills, like in the Gulf of Mexico or up by Alaska. I mean, they approach like $1 billion, couple $1 billion. Um, what else?
Loss of property.
Um,
Well, no, not really. Not with the cycles.
Yeah, I wouldn't say loss of property, but I would possibly say um,
Building more water.
to build more water filters. So when we're talking about water filters, we're talking like natural, like springs and things like that. But I put crop burnout because if you do one crop, specific, like say corn, and you don't rotate it out to like soybeans in the next couple of years, you lose all the nutrients and you need to add even more fertilizer. So those crops eventually take all of the nutrients out. And that can cost money to overturn crops.
Does that say burn cut?
Burnout.
Oh, burnout. Okay. So it's a little. There we go. Now I see it.
Okay, sorry. And then I would say you could lose, well, I'm going to say no. All right, what about for support, all the support systems? What can bees do ecologically? There's one where I could see us running into. Superbug.
A man spider.
When you use things like pesticides on crops, you end up with pests that are resistant and immune to those pesticides, and so you create superbugs. The same thing with people and the hand sanitizer warning. That we have like antibiotic resistant strains of like MRSA and things like that now because we've been so adamant about like over sanitizing that we've created immune bugs, viruses, bacteria, things like that. I'm waiting for that to happen with COVID. But So that is definitely an issue. What else can be an ecological? Lack of biodiversity or habitats when you start doing like the monocrops. From like the fertilizers. What about economics? What economic can come from screwing up the support systems? Usually everyone's like on top of the money answers. Wake up. Cost of pesticides, fertilizers. This could, oh God, what was the pesticide from the 70s? There was a pesticide that was so prevalent in the 70s that DDT, thank you. Good one, Leland. You can still find it in plants and animals today because it's stuck around so long. We'll talk about biomagnification next semester, but that whole business, once they found out it was bad, yeah, it's not good. Or we did the cats of Borneo with the DDT. The answer right there. Reads this probably a little bit better than I can with my brain right now, but monocrop costs money again with the nutrients and things like that. All right, I'm trying to hurry these last few. Cultural, what are some ecological effects here?
No one will visit.
I'm going to put that under economic.
Dehabitation. I highly doubt that's a word, but.
What?
Is there a word for something like dehabitation or something like that?
I'd say loss of habitat. I can't even talk. Let's see. Migration routes, definitely. What else? We can put at least one or two more down in cultural, whether it's economic or ecological. Are they related to Sharknado? What else can we do here? The MEE, no money will be funded to help. Okay, actually, yeah. To restore, maintain, rehabilitate, anything like that, any ecosystems. And I guess that could go in both ecological and economic. All right, and there could be plenty more. I'll probably think of some really good ones right after I hang up with you guys, because that's how my brain seems to work. But yeah, we could fill out a whole page of this, and you'll kind of look at this a little more specifically over the next couple days. All right, is everyone good on this table? We've got, I think, one more slide left. All right, Leland's giving me the thumbs up. I appreciate it. I'm going to reiterate this one more time because apparently I can't say it enough, like the definition of anthropogenic is be more specific than saying pollution, okay? Pollution, global climate change, none of those will ever really be the answer. All right, oh my gosh. So the very last part, an important thing, I think we've already talked about it a little bit, resiliency, and the need to maintain genetic diversity so we can have varieties to address. When it says needs of the future, that's all encompassing. And remember, this part is not human-centered. Ecosystem services are what they do for us. All right, so that's it. We'll start on, I'll move the biome stuff to tomorrow, and then we'll start there. But notes for today are done. And those of you that have access to AP Classroom, get your deal all done for homework by the weekend. No Godzilla. All right, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with some more enthusiastic people. Thank you, Leland and Jesus, for so much interaction. It's actually nice to see a face. I'm not gonna even lie. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow.